The film begins in 1947. A banker from Portland named Andy Dufresne, who was sent to Shawshank State Prison, to serve 2 consecutive life sentences for the murder of his wife and her lover. During his time in prison, he forms a friendship with Red, a fellow inmate serving a life sentence, who manages to get a rock hammer and a large poster of Rita Hayworth for Andy. Andy is assigned to work in the prison's laundry facility, where he is frequently assaulted by a prison gang known as the Sisters, and their leader, Boggs Diamond. After 2 years, Andy overhears the captain of the guards, named Byron Hadley, complaining about the taxes on his inheritance. Andy steps in and offers his expertise to help him to protect his money legally. Following a near-fatal attack on Andy by the Sisters, Hadley intervenes, severely injuring the gang's leader, who is then transferred to another prison, putting an end to the attacks on Andy. Warden Samuel Norton takes notice of Andy and assigns him to run down the prison's library to assist elderly Brooks Hatlin. A front to use Andy's financial skills to handle the financial affairs of the prison staff, guards from other prisons, and the warden himself. Andy starts writing weekly letters to the state legislature to request funds for improving the library. In 1954, after serving a 50-year sentence, Brooks was granted parole. However, he struggles to adapt to life outside prison and tragically takes his own life. The state legislature donates to the prison library, which includes a recording of the marriage of Figaro. Andy plays a section of this recording over the prison's public address system, an act that lands him in solitary confinement. Upon his release from solitary, Andy confides to Red that hope is what gets him through his sentence. In 1963, Warden Norton starts to exploit prison labor for public works projects, profiting by offering services at lower costs than skilled labor and accepting bribes. Andy assists in these operations by laundering the money using the alias, Randall Stevens. In 1965, Andy and Red formed a friendship with Tommy Williams, a young inmate serving time for burglary. A year later, Andy assists Tommy in successfully passing his GED exam. Tommy discloses to Red and Andy that a former cellmate at a different prison had confessed to the murders for which Andy was convicted. Andy brings the information to Norton, who refuses to listen. When Andy brings up the money laundering operation, Norton sends Andy to solitary confinement and fatally shoots Tommy under the guise of an escape attempt. After Andy refuses to continue laundering money, Norton threatens to destroy the library, withdraws Andy's protection from the guards, and worsens his living conditions. After 2 months in solitary, Andy is released and he shares his dream of residing in a coastal town in Mexico, Zihuatanejo. He asks Red to promise to retrieve a package that he has hidden in a hayfield near Buxton once Red is released. Red becomes concerned for Andy's mental state, as he discovers that Andy has requested a rope from another inmate. The following day, during roll call, the guards discover Andy's cell is empty. In a fit of anger, Norton throws a rock at a poster of Raquel Welch on the cell wall, uncovering a tunnel that Andy had dug with his rock hammer over nearly 2 decades. The night before, Andy had used the rope to navigate through the tunnel and the prison's sewage pipe, taking with him Norton's suit, shoes, and ledger, which held proof of the money laundering and corruption at Shawshank. While the guards search for him, Andy assumes the identity of Randall Stevens, withdraws over $370,000 of the laundered money from various banks, and sends the ledger to a local newspaper. Upon their arrival at Shawshank, they take Hadley into custody, while Norton takes his own life to avoid arrest. A year later, Red is granted parole after serving a 40-year sentence. However, he finds it difficult to adjust to life beyond the prison walls and is plagued by a fear that he may never be able to. Recalling his promise to Andy, he travels to Buxton where he discovers a hidden stash containing money and a letter inviting him to Zihuatanejo. Despite the risk of violating his parole, Red travels to Fort Hancock, Texas, and crosses the border into Mexico, finally allowing himself to embrace hope. Upon reaching Zihuatanejo, he finds Andy sanding an old boat on the beach, and the 2 reunited friends happily embrace. And here the movie ends. Thanks for watching.